you're out there, you're riding, you're having a good time, and taking in the outdoors.
The fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning.
What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the RacerRed channel. So today I'm riding up in Cambridge, Idaho. It was a beautiful day today, about 90 degrees, and tomorrow it's supposed to be like 60 and windy, so you never know what the weather is going to hold here in Idaho this time of year, but it is beautiful. Everything is really green, the flowers are blooming, it smells great up here. Actually, Cambridge had a little bit of a forest fire go through, and you'll see that in certain sections of this video. You'll actually see a lot of the forest is a little bit burned through, but it wasn't as affected as I thought it would be. This is my first time up since that fire, so actually it looked pretty good up there. The trails are disappearing at a pretty alarming rate up here in Cambridge, Idaho. A lot of the trails are just not used enough, and I don't know whether that's because of difficulty or what, but a lot of the trails are just like the game trails around the area. So like game trail intersects with the motorcycle trail, and that's a real problem because you just can't tell the difference. There's literally no difference. And that's what I always say, if you don't use a trail enough, it's not cut in to the point where you can really tell that there's motorcycles on that trail. And so I'm gonna try to make it back here enough this year to really clear trail and get this stuff cut in, because this is one of the nearest riding areas to my house with the best riding. I mean, it is just beautiful riding up here, but there have been a lot of trails, especially as you go up on the left side of that highway in the Hit Mountain area. Those trails on that side are really scarce. They're really looking primitive, and the game trail is really taking over in that area. I mean, you can't tell the difference in most cases. That other side of the highway over there in the Hit Mountains is really where, if you want to go do some trail maintenance, that really needs it over there. Riding the DRZ400S today. It's got 33.4 horsepower. That's only 1.6 horsepower less than the KTM 350 EXCF. Not really a fair comparison, considering the DRZ400S is immune to the EPA regulations because it's grandfathered in. If Suzuki did any changes to the DRZ, they would actually have to comply with EPA regulations, and therefore they would have to switch out all the fueling options to fuel injection as opposed to carbureted, and they would have to put on all of the restrictions that the new bikes have. So this bike would make way less horsepower if it was upgraded. So every year you get some different color schemes, and that's it. This has been the same motorcycle since I think about 2002 is when they started making them. And this bike does a really good job of hitting trails and street. I mean, it's a really comfortable bike. It's just so squishy and planted feeling that you can really go anywhere on it. You're not going anywhere fast though. It's not like I can do anything fancy with it. Like all my other bikes, they're real high performance and they're high strung, and you really kind of have to know what you're doing on those bikes. On this bike, you can just pile drive straight through. You don't have to do anything too crazy. So, like if you're coming up to a root or a rock, or even a bunch of rocks, there's really no deflection, so you just pile drive straight through that stuff, and the front tire and the front wheel just tracks so good on this bike. I'm shocked every time I ride it. And I think that's partially due because of the weight, the suspension being so mushy, and also the low center of gravity. I really haven't done much to this bike. I bought it not too long ago, last year I think it is. Redid the whole handlebar setup with handguards and everything. But besides that, I haven't done anything to this bike. It's been great ever since I've got it. So put a new battery in it right when I got it, and it's been awesome ever since. It's reliable. That's been proven for sure. I had a 2006 Supermoto DRZ a while back. I rode that to 19,000 miles before I sold it. This one has 6,500 miles on it, and most of those are my miles. So it's been an awesome bike, and it's really easy to work on. It's probably similar to working on a tractor. I mean, it's super easy. Everything is very simple. Everything's bolted on. It's just taking bolts off and replacing things and bending things around. I mean, it's a very primitive machine compared to something you would buy in 2021. It's made for competition. So yeah, nothing has really changed on the bike at all, and I'm really glad about that, considering the EPA regulations have really changed over the years. In fact, they get more and more strict by a certain percentage every year, and so the manufacturers are really having to struggle. As you can see in a lot of this video, there is some burned area, and like I said earlier, there's just not as much as I thought there was. From the videos and stuff that I saw up here, it looked pretty devastating, but now that I've ridden through it, there's a couple big sections that I saw, but overall it's still pretty green up here. It is a really beautiful area. I basically came up to check the snow levels, and I was really shocked to see that you could go into the higher elevations without any trouble, really. So I'll definitely be bringing the dirt bikes up here, and you guys will see some pretty epic trail rides here pretty soon. It's gonna be pretty awesome. I didn't expect this at all. Here on a scouting trip, it was just amazing to see that the snow level is just pretty high in elevation. I'm pretty sure I can do a lot of the lower elevation trails, as long as I'm not going back behind the mountain deep into these trails. I should be okay, but we'll see here pretty soon. I'm going to try to do a trip up there and hit some of those trails here pretty soon. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I didn't have my audio plugged in on this ride, so I'm just doing a voiceover for you guys. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next section. Peace.